Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Fetch Quest podcast, where we talk about video games and more. I'm your host for tonight, Brewer, and I'm joined by my fellow co-host, Connor.
Hello.
So, Connor, how have you been recently?
Uh, pretty good. I was doing some cleaning and I found this box in my garage if you wanted to take a look at it.
Ooh, sure, why not? Let's take a look. First, we have a Game Boy Advance.
Oh, that's nice. I didn't know I had that.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good handheld.
Yeah. Next, a copy of Tetris.
1 in 5 million copies of Tetris out there, but not bad.
Probably more than 5 million. But let's see what else. And this, this pristine $600 copy of Shantae for the Game Boy Color. Holy shit, Connor, where did you get this?
Dude, I already told you it was in a random box in my garage. And that I'm pretty sure that it was also owned by my very rich and very deceased grandfather.
Well, that explains why there was also gold in the box, but who cares about that boring stuff? How about we play and make a video on Shantae?
That sounds great. We'll probably never get an opportunity like this again.
Yep. And with that, welcome everyone to the Fetch Quest podcast, where again, we talk about video games and more. Today, we will be talking about Shantae for the Game Boy Color, which, if you didn't already get from the intro, is a very rare and expensive game. At least for the original prints. Luckily, there's much easier ways to access the game. Me and Connor played the Switch version. I think it's also on PS5, Steam, and even for the Game Boy Color itself, it had a re-release from Limited Run Games. So very cool. But I think this is just a little gem of a game. It's a bit rough around the edges, but it's the first game in the series and it was released on the Game Boy Color, so I think that's completely fair. In all honesty, what do you think, Connor?
I completely agree. Honestly, I actually lended your copy to play and beat it, but I think it's pretty good. I can definitely see how it created a sort of a long-running franchise that has been the Shantae games, but it has definitely got a little bit of a few rough spots in the game, but I still think it's pretty good.
Yeah, well, it's still also just very impressive for its time as well, because it had just a lot of stuff crammed into a Game Boy Color cartridge. There's a town that has kind of a rotating view from the back, so that's pretty cool to see from just trying to navigate a simple town.
Yeah, that was. I always thought that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, there's a day and night cycle that's built into the game, which I do have a couple of issues with it, especially for there's a randomized town defined, and also a lot of times the enemies can't just get buffed up. So sometimes when I was playing the game, if it turned to nighttime and there was no enemies around, I would literally just kind of just wait it out. Especially if I was low on health, because it does have that old school checkpoint and live system that can be pretty punishing as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess I'll just go ahead and say a few of my other gripes with the game right now, so we can get into mostly positive stuff. But I also feel like for some parts of the game, it can be really hard to know where to go, and the game doesn't do a decent. It does decently tell you where to go, but there are other times where you're completely lost.
The game doesn't give you a map. I'm pretty sure the manual has a map on it. The Switch version came with a manual, and I think the Game Boy Color re-release came with a manual that has a map. But either way, there's no actual built-in map to the game, so it can be very hard to tell where you're going.
Yeah, exactly.
But besides that, again, it's rough, but it's the first game in the series. It was on the Game Boy Color. I think we can cut it a little bit of slack, because again, they did cram so much into the game. You have a bunch of awesome transformations that give you different powers. You have the day and night cycle we just mentioned. and a lot of options too for how you want to play the game, like a lot of extra items and stuff on top of the transformations that let you customize your moveset however you like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just a lot of fun. I guess first thing we can do a little synopsis real quick. So if you don't know anything about Shantae, she is a half genie, not a full genie, but half genie because there's very few full genies left after the genies of the world fell in love with regular humans, and now half genies like Shantae popped up. And Shantae is the guardian of just a small little peaceful town until Risky Boots comes along and wants to basically just destroy the world. So Shantae has to go on a quest to get just a bunch of random little items to stop Risky Boots' plans, and to eventually fight her at the end and thwart it and save the world.
Yep.
So
Pretty simple.
kind of yeah, some simple premise. All things considered, bad guy comes, you gotta get some magical MacGuffins and whatnot to stop him. But I mean, classic setup for just a pretty solid game with some nice lovable characters. I do like the cast of Shantae. The characters are all, I feel like, very well designed. At least in maybe some of the earlier games. Some of the later games have some interesting designs. But I like all the designs from this game, and I feel like they have a lot of personality in them, even for the short amount of time that they show up on screen.
Yeah, exactly. Um I lost my train of thought. Oh wait, hold on, I got it back. Yeah, I really like the designs because they not only do they like just are very unique, especially for like the limited like graphics you could get on the Game Boy Color, but they're also just like it really helps like build out the world and stuff like that because you've got like all manners of different like people. You've got like Roddy Tops, who's a zombie. You've got
Sky, who's like a bird keeper who kind of lives in the desert, so
yep.
she has fitting attire.
You got Risky Boots, who is
Pirate.
Pirate. Yeah, like, it's just a very diverse cast of like characters, and I think it's really cool.
Yeah, definitely. That, and again, for how simple the story is, it is a nice little heartwarming story. I always find Shantae, like, I've played a couple different Shantae games, but even in his first game, I find her to be like a nice little endearing character. She genuinely just cares and loves for the town she protects, and she does sacrifice a lot to protect it, even stuff that could truly benefit her, especially with like a decision she makes at the end of the game.
Yeah, exactly. But I think we should start talking about like like a very important part about this game, which is like the gameplay and the main gimmick, obviously being the transformations.
Oh yeah, her whole little adventure. Yeah, I really like her base moveset. Like, it's iconic with the hair whip, and her transformations just really add on to that. And
Yeah,
they lead into just a lot of interesting level design.
yeah, especially since they're all very varied. You've got and obviously you can correct me if I'm wrong. You've got the monkey who allows you to like climb and jump and stuff like that.
Yep.
Um, you've got, I believe, the elephant.
Yeah, very strong, powerful, a bit slow, but can break through a lot of tough terrain.
And then you've got the harpy, which I think just allows you to fly, which is
Yeah, the harpy is safe for like kind of the end of the game because it's a busted transformation. You can just fly over most everything.
yeah,
No, they still put a lot of enemies in the air just to say fuck you.
yeah,
And then there's also the spider, which lets you like climb into objects in like the background and stuff to reach a couple areas you couldn't with the monkey.
yeah,
That, and another cool feature about this game, it was released on the Game Boy Color, but it was like very late into its lifespan, which is also why it did not sell very well and why it's also $600. But it has Game Boy Advance features actually. If it's put into a Game Boy Advance, that or for modern consoles, you can swap into Game Boy Advance mode pretty easily.
uh-huh.
Along with the game just like running a little better, I think it also has an exclusive transformation for the Tinkerbat, which is I don't think has ever returned in any Shantae games. Which, I mean, it's kind of fair because it is also a absolutely busted transformation. It combines aspects of like the three main transformations to give you just a busted busted character to use. Though it is safe for the end of the game, so at the very least it's a solid reward for like collecting a lot of gems.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't complain too much. But yeah, all the transformations though, they just lead very well into the dungeon design. Because throughout the game, to get all those like little magical items we mentioned, you're gonna have to go to a lot of dungeons where you have to solve some puzzles. Kind of, it feels kind of like in a Zelda-like way, because you explore the dungeon. A lot of times you'll see an area you can't naturally get to, and then you go a different route. You find a transformation, and now the level's opened up to you a lot more. You know what I mean, Connor?
Yeah, exactly. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and the dungeons have a lot to them to explore as well, because they also have these little warp squids in them, which if you collect enough of them, you can go to like any town. It doesn't matter where you collected a warp squid, just go to any town. You can give the warp squids there, and that'll unlock some fast travel options for you.
Yeah, it incentivizes you to like explore the dungeons and try and find like secret little hidden areas and stuff like that, so you can get all the warp squids since it like actually benefits you.
Yeah, not to mention that I think with the transformations and stuff, that they always, I think in every Shantae game I've played at least, they usually have a lot of extra little collectibles and stuff. They reward you for exploring. Like, if you unlock an ability and you go back to like some of the open world segments, you can like find extra like containers that give you permanent heart pieces. Or I forget what they're called in this game, but basically Zelda thing. You get another piece of heart, so very nice. Then I think for each transformation in the game, minus the Tinkerbat because it doesn't need it, you can find little extra abilities hidden around
Mm-hmm.
that will give give you some extra abilities. It varies per transformation, but I know with like the monkey, it gives you like a claw swipe because normally you can't attack with it. Of like the spider, I think gives you the most busted one, to where you can shoot out this projectile of acid that travels very far across the screen.
Yay.
Yeah,
We
because I
love
use that to
zoning.
just mollywop the final boss. Yeah,
True, we love zoning.
yeah. I think there's another thing to mention with the dungeons as well, is they have some very solid bosses. Like, what do you think, Connor?
Um, from what I remember, it has been a bit since I played this game, but I remember liking the bosses. I really like the final boss a lot. I think it's a lot of fun and a really interesting one. Um, but you're honestly gonna have to remind me on some of the other bosses are because I've forgotten most of them.
Okay, there's like this little dragon that flies around. You use like the spider to climb and like make it sink. There's another like flying creature you fight with the harpy, and then there's just a whole lot of other like enemies or like bigger versions of the enemies, but they have some very solid attack patterns. I'll
I
give
can't
them that.
remember. Isn't there one of the giant head and two hands boss in this game?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't always like to see that design because dude, it pops up in every game. I remember when I was playing Wind Waker the other day, like literally that boss popped up, and I'm like, dude, I've seen this a million times. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it does have one of those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I I will say this. I don't really have a huge problem with it as long as like the fight like does things that are unique or interesting and stuff like that. Um, for example, one of my favorite sort of bosses of that sort of I guess design trope is the one from Donkey Kong Country Returns because it's actually like semi difficult and actually like pretty interesting with how it
Yeah.
uses
Yeah.
the design trope. But I do get your frustrations because it is typically just
I
like
mean, it's not like a major frustration because most of the time the bosses are still fun. And I get why designers have done that a lot. Plus, in Shantae's case, this was like Game Boy Color
Game Boy
era, so
Color. Yeah,
it's not like that trope had been established too much.
yeah, they were the innovators.
Yeah, well, I definitely don't think they were the first ones to do it, but I mean, early era for that trope to start popping up some more.
Yeah. Um,
Either way, it was still fun because you could use all of your little like transformation abilities to get around.
True.
I think the only bad thing about the transformation abilities, which they did like fix this in later games, is they were kind of annoying to use because Shantae does do like a lot of belly dancing,
Yeah.
and that involves her transformations as well. You have to use the D-pad to input certain directions to the beat of the music, and that will put in a transformation, that or a couple other special things like warping as well.
Yeah.
Only problem is, at least in this game, is the inputs can be kind of annoying to put in. Like it took me a while to figure out the rhythm for it because it's not as obvious as it seems. But
Yeah, I
more
remember
so,
I remember getting a little frustrated at that system a bit.
yeah. But more so, I think the bigger issue is when you're trying to transform in the middle of a boss fight, it's pretty slow.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to lend yourself to getting hit, which, I mean, I think it does work in this game because they designed the bosses around it to give you those openings. But it does also hurt to where, like, when you're not transforming, you can just, like, go ham on the boss, especially with some of the later abilities. Because I think that's why a lot of the games have simplified the transformation process. Like, Risky's Revenge, when you did the dance, there was only, like, a couple inputs for it, and also just everything kind of froze while you were doing it, so you didn't have to worry about like getting hit by an enemy while transforming.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, it's a cool thing, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But do we want to maybe talk about something that, like the art style of the game?
Oh yeah, we mentioned that that and the music that pairs very nicely with it. It had some very good pixel art for its time, and
Yeah,
again, especially
my
with the transformations, they crammed a lot into a Game Boy Color cartridge.
yeah, it is really impressive how much they were able to do with like the art style and stuff like that because it's very unique and memorable. Like the
Definitely.
environments, the like chibi-ish style that Shantae and the other characters have.
Yeah. Well, then I liked a lot of the pixel art on the bosses as well. They had a lot of unique looking bosses. That are some that just like had very detailed faces, I feel, as well.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Especially there was one boss that I don't remember its exact name, but like it was basically, it looked like a giant cannon. It had an eye and some horns, and it would spin around during a lot of the boss fight. So it kind of gave like a pseudo 3D look, even though it was just sprite work.
Yeah, it was really cool. I especially love the final boss and how like it's like very intricate and stuff like that, but I love the sprite work on that boss too.
Oh yeah, definitely. That then the way it works with all your transformation abilities you've gotten up to that
Yeah.
point. To well, except if you use Tinkerbat, because Tinkerbat just kind of just clear. The only transformation I used besides Tinkerbat was Harpy once I unlocked it, but
Yeah.
that and sometimes Monkey, because Tinkerbat's weird in the fact that it can't crawl into the small spaces that the Monkey can. I don't know, weird transformation, but it was GBA exclusive, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the art style, just like the world feels very vibrant, alive, and it was again impressive how they implemented the day night feature as well.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. It really is just like a great environment and a great like the art style and how the music like combine, I guess I'll say.
Yeah, yeah,
Really like it makes it feel like very alive and it's like it's just very fun to explore and run around in the world.
oh yeah, definitely. Again, especially with all those little secrets you can find with the transformations, and the music is very upbeat and chipper too. But they do know like how to change it. Like when night events occur, it does get to like a more tense track. That and bosses have that as well. but a lot of times when you're just running through town, it gives you just this really joyous and upbeat tune.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, yeah, what a great little game.
Yeah. Do we want to start wrapping up? Because it is a pretty short game. Not a whole lot to talk about.
Yeah, I think we can get into some concluding points. Do you want to start first, Connor?
Yeah, sure. Um, so I played this game, I want to say around a year ago, maybe. And I think it's just really fun. It's a really cute game. I had always wanted to play a Shantae game. I've been a fan of the character ever since I've been like, I guess, introduced to her through like Smash Ultimate and other like just online stuff.
Connor
Um,
thought Shantae was hot.
no,
Well, not that everyone doesn't.
yeah, true. But yeah, I just always wanted to play one of the games. And I'm glad I started with the first one because while I do think it has a few flaws that we talked about at the beginning, I still think overall it's just a really fun game. Especially for its time, I think it's pretty impressive. Um, and I just think all the cool mechanics and uh, like the transformations, the how the dungeons work, and how that overlaps. I just think all of it combines to be just a generally like pretty fun and interesting little game that I really like to play, and I can't wait to like play another Shantae game someday.
Oh yeah, yeah. I would recommend Risky's Revenge. That one is very, very good. Very good. But I guess I'll go into my concluding points. Overall, Shantae for the Game Boy Color is just a very solid game. It's like we said, it's rough around the edges, but like it's kind of just a piece of its time. And I don't want to hold that too much against the game because it did have a lot of great ideas for just a Game Boy Color game. I like
True.
I like its all the transformations Shantae has. It leads into a lot of interesting platforming and interesting level design with the dungeons. The only issue I really have with it is generally just sometimes it can be hard to tell where you're going, and then you fall down a bottomless pit, or like an enemy shoots you into a bottomless pit, and then you lose a lot of progress. So there is that, but old school game, it's kind of what I expect at this point. I like the soundtrack and the art style. It makes me just feel like I'm going on a little grand adventure with Shantae, and it's great. And just overall, like I think this is just a solid game. It's just a solid game to pick up. I would highly recommend it. It's not going to take too much of your time, and there is clearly just a lot of love and passion put into the game, which spawned a huge series after it. Because I think there's like 4, 5, maybe 6 games now after it. See, Risky's Revenge, Pirate's Curse, Half Genie Hero, Seven Sirens, and now the game that was actually sequel to this game but canceled but brought back, Risky's Revolution. So yeah, Shantae series is great. Shantae for Smash. She would be cool to see.
It would be very cool to see.
More than just the me outfit.
True. Very
But yeah,
true.
with that, if you guys like this video, maybe use your little hair whip attack like Shantae to whip that like button, and comment if you've ever played the Shantae series or if you're interested in getting started with it. Honestly, I would recommend Risky's Revenge. Very, very good game. That, or if you don't mind some challenge, you can start with the first one. But with that, we have been the Fetch Quest podcast. Thank you very much for watching.